Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulations walkthrough. It is time for the penultimate part of the entire walkthrough. This is the penultimate part of Bridge to the Turnabout. Maya is going to give us some more testimony. We are going to continue to prove that Prosecutor Goddo was the murderer. And, oh, it's just gonna be so sad and awful, but it needs to be done. Yeah, might not want to be admitting to that under oath. But to be fair, that said, sometimes you do just come out with things that are just completely and utterly ridiculous. You don't necessarily mean to say them, you do. Freudian slips, for example. Key. But I know that in the past I have come up with things, not necessarily intending them to come out, but they did. And, I mean, prime example that I will always return to is when I was having my interview for university. I said, yeah, I don't really like poetry, it's not really my thing. Obviously then, because, you know, I want to make myself seem intelligent, it's mostly because the poetry that I'd done up to that point had been Carol Ann Duffy and Simon Armitage, which I was like, I just don't like them. Did like Robert Browning, and I continue to like Robert Browning's poetry. And also what I had experienced of Gerard Manley Hopkins, and I still love Gerard Manley Hopkins' poems, largely because they became a sort of symbol throughout my university degree, because the Windhover got me, well, was my test question that I did for doing like mock interviews, because it was the first poem that I did going into A-level. And then at my actual interview, the poem that I got given to analyse then and there was Spring and Full by Gerard Manley Hopkins, and then I studied him in like my third... Was it my third year or my second year? One of the two. And just still really enjoyed him. And then in my final year he turned up in my practical criticism exam, and it was actually a poem that I had studied before and I liked. And then when I was graduating I found a second edition book of his poems, and it was meant to be. So yeah, so getting back on point. So in this interview I said, yeah, I don't like poetry, really don't like Carol Ann Duffy, because just not a fan of her poems. That just, ugh. Can't really exactly remember what I said in terms of the specifics, but yeah, came up with that. Thankfully, that was exactly the right thing to say to that supervisor, because she also said, yeah, I don't think you'll be alone on that one, because she also hated Carol Ann Duffy's poetry. So yeah, so things like that. And also, so I was applying for a job and was just checking to see whether they'd received my application, just because of, I don't know, paranoia, I suppose, because really wanted it. And ended up having to leave a message, and in the message I, kind of ended up saying it would break my heart to know that I missed out on this opportunity with this job because you hadn't received my application. And then that was basically the end of my my message. And then afterwards I was just like, should not have said that, because that makes me look like a right desperate loser. And also I didn't leave a number, so they're going to struggle to phone me back. That was a really, really stupid move. But you see, sometimes in the moment, something seems right in your head, and so it just comes out of your mouth. And then you instantly think, oh, shut up, you idiot, that is not the thing to say. Just act cool, act natural. Yeah, no. So, getting back to the game at hand, yeah, we've basically just proved that Godot was there before the murder took place, and before Pearl covered that artwork in gravy. So that basically proves that he was there beforehand, but now he's asking us to prove that he knew about the plan beforehand, and yes, the letter, because someone had already read it. Because it planned over a year ago, when Dahlia and Morgan Fay discussed it, and then left it for Pearl. Well, it would have been well over a year ago actually, because it would have been before they met in prison, because it would have been done before Morgan Fay got put in prison. So yeah, she'd been planning that for a long time. And yeah, he could have figured it out if he really wanted to know. He could have found out when Morgan Fay told Pearl where they were. Kind of clear, pretty easy, and it'd be quite easy for a prosecutor to get in on that day when that was happening. Everything is pointing towards you, Godot. You cannot escape this. How many more things do we need to prove, man? But he's still cool as a cucumber, which is kind of insane. Like, I mean, at this point you'd think he would have had his breakdown and crumbled, but no, he's just still enjoying that coffee. Well, you see, there's one very, very obvious reason that nobody else in the court's going to know. But that reason, as we are going to state as soon as the game allows me to, is one very particular person. And of course we figured it out, Maya. This was clear from the moment Prosecutor Godot finally let slip part of his reasoning for hating Nick so much. One person ties them together, and that is Mia Fey. Now the truth is coming out to the court that Godot really is Diego Armando. And now I can actually go into a little bit of why it all ties together so nicely. And I mean, this tale is just so tragic. Oh, it's awful and sad. But Godot is a portmanteau of the last syllables of Diego Armando. And it's funny because apparently it also shares the same initials as an acronym for both defence attorney, which Armando was, and a district attorney, a prosecutor, which is what Godot became. There's apparently also the possibility, as I believe I mentioned a while ago now, that reference to the Argentine football player and manager Diego Armando Maradona, who is famous for his Hand of God goal during the 1986 FIFA World Cup quarter-final against England, and his suspension from the sport due to drug use. But I would say that really they're probably going more for the Godot bit and the whole acronym dealio. Which, it's just so incredibly fitting. And just everything about this tale is so tragic, so incredibly tragic. And here is the truth. Godot has blamed Nick for Mia's death since the beginning. And that's just so sad. And then his other reason for living was Maya. To protect Maya from suffering so badly. And so he did everything in his power to protect her. And yeah, Iris and Misty Faye were accomplices in the plan all along. And just this case goes from being sad and awful to being so insanely tragic, because Iris helped out knowing that if it all went wrong, she was going to take the fall, and Misty Faye went in knowing that she was going to see her daughter again after 17 years, and that she may not ever make it out alive, and just it's just so awful. And so, we now know why Elise tried to get Pearls to go with her to read. But then, Pearls never showed. And so, that's what led Elise, Misty Faye, to having to channel Dahlia. And, I mean, this is slightly annoying. He's admitted to a great deal, but he hasn't admitted to the murder yet, despite the fact that, you know, everything points to, you know, him having killed Misty Faye. But we've got to do this all by ourselves. And you know what? We are damn well going to do it. You may not want it to happen, Maya. To be fair, in my heart of hearts, I kind of don't want it to happen either, because, I mean, Goddo's a good... flawed, deeply flawed, but he's a good man. He put his life on the line to protect Mia and Maya. But the truth must come out, and justice must be served. So, for the final time, it is time to finish this once and for all. This is going to be the last piece of testimony in the Ace Attorney trilogy. Let's do this.